So I'm Chris. I work for the creative design firm IDEO, and I'm here to talk to you about how we go about making and designing the things that we make. All right, so first of all, let's meet some of my coworkers. So you're going to notice a couple of things about this picture. First, everyone's got a stuffed animal. This was from a make lunch that we had. It basically, everyone just took their own take on the stuffed animal process. Keeps us loose. The second thing you're going to notice is that everyone has their own focus. We've got artists, graphic designers, computer programmers, mechanical engineers, actors, someone who's really good at interviewing people, a very diverse array of skills. But we all share a passion for creation. IDEO creates an awful lot of things. By create, I mean design. We've created computer equipment. We've created medical devices for the developing world. We've created pizza cutters, the interiors of aircraft. Pretty much anything you can name, we've more or less designed it. Some things are taken from something that previously existed. This is an exercise machine. Hadn't been changed in 30 years. And we took it, redesigned it, sent it back out into the world, and the company has now revamped their business around this exercise machine. Some things came from nothing. This is from our toy lab. It's a small group on the West Coast that focuses on making toys and games for really young children. This more or less came from just our imagination. So, how do we know what we're going to make? You may have had the experience that either you're eating dinner, or you're on a bus, or you've seen a number of inspirational TEDx talks, and you think to yourself, okay, this experience is awful. This has got to be changed. Something has to be done. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Okay, perfect. There's our problem statement. So I'm going to use an example from the toy lab. It's easy because we get to come up with our own questions. And our challenge was this: how do we play with a football, make it fun by ourselves? So don't need that guy holding the football for you. Okay, so there's our challenge statement. The next thing we're going to do is hold what's called a brainstorm. And now, hands up, who knows what a brainstorm is? Oh. Nobody. Huh. So what's a brainstorm? Remember that diverse group of people from earlier? We put them in a room together, and they try and generate as many solutions to this problem as they can. All right? There's 100 different ways you can play with a football by yourself. Some of them aren't fun, and some of them are not even possible. But we cover a board with all the solutions, and then we pick the ones that we think are going to work, and we make what's called a prototype. Hands up, who knows what a prototype is? Dang it. So a prototype is a rough draft of what you want your final copy to be. If you're doing a creative story, you don't just write the story and submit it. You write a rough draft where you flesh out the characters, the plot, everything else. You don't worry about spelling or grammar at this point. That comes at a later draft. Then you submit the final one. Same is true of a physical prototype, like this football. It took 10 minutes to put together. It's a foam football with the top of another football chopped off and glued on the bottom. We take that and we give it to our testers. Okay? And what you want to get is honest feedback. You don't want to give your prototype to your mom. You don't want to give it to your best friend. You want to give it to someone who's going to tell it to you straight. Is this thing any fun? And can I kick it? Can I play with it by myself? To answer that challenge question. Now, after 2 kicks, this particular prototype fell apart. So, lesson learned, we need stronger glue. But more importantly, the feedback we got was this: the weight of that little cone made the football kind of tumble in a weird way. It was actually hard to kick. And if you had a partner who was there to catch it, it was hard to catch. Secondly, it's not all that much fun to kick a football by yourself, because you can hoof it, and that's awesome, and then you have to run down the field, get exhausted, pick up the football, run back to the starting line, set up again. So these are not failings. These are learnings. Remember, this only took 10 minutes to put together. Give me another 15 minutes, and I'll make you another prototype. And that's exactly what we do with the learnings from this one. Boom. Here's another prototype. Now, we've replaced it with fins. It still stands up. Should be a little more aerodynamic. Let's see if it's any more fun. We tested again. These guys started throwing it. They realized that when there's 2 of you, it's much more fun to be tossing the football back and forth. We use the learnings from that to create more prototypes. We keep testing. We see is it fun if we kick it? No? Okay, fine. Keep testing. Now, occasionally an accident is going to occur, all right? And you want to be open to these accidents. Always be looking for them. In this case, we'd thrown this football back and forth so many times that the little fins had kind of curled, and the football started spinning when we threw it. We weren't meaning to spin it, but it did. So, okay, let's build on that. Let's make a prototype that actually has the fins curve, so it will really spin when you throw it. That is the one that we eventually sold to a toy company. Now, it wasn't to do with kicking. We more or less changed the facing of the problem to be how can we create a football that throws a perfect spiral like a quarterback every single time in a fun way. As I said, that's what we sold to the toy company, and to prove that I'm not lying, here it is. I bought this about a week ago. We did this work several years ago, and it's still selling. So, who's feeling lucky? Excellent choice of targets. I should now show you a perfect spiral. No injuries at TEDxTalks. Wonderful. Right, I don't have any more footballs, I'm sorry. Maybe a t-shirt cannon in the back. Now, I've been talking a lot about physical things, this physical prototypes, but you can prototype anything, all right? You can prototype a website, you can prototype an app, you can prototype a service or a business, okay? Now, this is another Toy Lab example. This one, we had partnered with Sesame, the guys who do all the Muppets, right? And we were trying to make an app for them. So let's go watch this.
Cue music. So this is possible dance moves for Monster Maker. So music starts, and I'm the player, so I come in and I touch the monster, and he gives me a special dance move. I go and touch again, and he does a different one. And it can go for as long as I want. It has a few signature moves. And when I've had enough and I'm done dancing, I touch the back button, and it pauses, and the music stops. Monster Maker.
Cool.
Sonic. Come on, Sonic.
Wow.
Get in there, Sonic.
And shenanigans ensue, and it was all lies. So, we didn't write any code for that whatsoever, all right? We had a big piece of foam core, we put a printout of a telephone on the front of it, and we cut a hole in it, and then we had a couple of people dancing in the background. And you can use the same process that I talked about with the football in this process. So, you brainstorm, you prototype, you test, you prototype, you get more feedback, keep prototyping, and it costs way less to just put up a couple of sheets of football than it does to pay someone to program a whole app and then realize, oh, we programmed the wrong app. That prototype led to this, eventually. This is called ELMO calls. This allows ELMO to FaceTime with you directly. You'll get a phone call at say, 8:30 at night. Oh, it's for Johnny. Hello? And then ELMO says, oh, it's time to brush your teeth, do some exercises, go to bed, jump up and down, moo like a cow, say the alphabet, whatever. It's been a monstrously successful app. I think ELMO himself has made something like 100 million calls. Probably by now it's about 150 million. He's got a hoarse voice. So that's pretty much it. We've been running a couple of workshops earlier. We've got 2 more workshops coming up after this. Hopefully you guys can join us. We'd love to see what you can make, and we love to see images of it. So please send it to this email address if you guys are interested. We won't share it with anybody. We'll let you do that. And that's it.